Hi guys, welcome back to Jesus and Mind podcast. I'm really excited to be doing this video with you guys today, and I hope you are too. So today we're going to be talking about mindset. So let's get on to the video. Welcome back to Okay, so starting off with the topic of mindset, we're actually going to be starting off in Romans chapter 8. So I want to start off with talking about the things that affect your mindset, and then I'm going to talk about how your mindset affects your life. So let me start here. We're in chapter 8, verse 5. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on things of the Spirit. For to set your mind on the flesh is death, but to set your mind on the Spirit is life and peace. For the mind that is set on flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. However, are you in the flesh but in the Spirit? If the fact the Spirit of God dwells in you, anyone who does not have the Spirit of Christ does not belong to him. So I'm going to stop there. That was verses 5 through 9. Yeah, through 9. So what I kind of want to talk about there is that it's pretty much saying if you're surrounding yourself with things around the world that are not of the Spirit and more of worldly things, then that's going to become your mindset. So I am all for saying to change, you want to change people. That's absolutely amazing. But you have to be careful, because if you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't godly, your mind is going to become not godly. Whether you think that's happening or not, it is going to happen. So we have to be careful as missionaries of God. We have to be careful how to protect our hearts and our minds, but still trying to help people that don't know God. So you can't conform to the other people of the world. We have to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. So we have to be transformed by God's words, and we have to be transformed by what we believe in our hearts and our minds before we can help other people. And we have to have a strong relationship before we can go out and be in a surrounding that is not godly and not spiritual. So what I have written beside those verses that I just read is, if you surround yourself with evil, your mind will become evil. But if you surround yourself with godliness, your mind will become godly. So that's kind of what I just said, but that's like a summed up version of that. So if you want to be godly and you want to grow your relationship with God, you're going to have to find people to surround yourself with, and you're going to have to get rid of people that aren't godly and aren't spiritual, because sometimes that's what happens, and God will take people out of your life for a reason, and that's going to be the reason. Okay, so the next verse that I'm going to go over is in Proverbs. So we're flipping our Bibles to Proverbs, and we're going to chapter 4, and verse 23. So chapter 4, verse 23 of Proverbs says, "Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the springs of life." So if that one can be a little bit confusing, so I do have another version, and it is GNT. So the other one, the GNT, said, "Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts." So I think that kind of sums it up. So be careful how your mind is thinking, because your life totally revolves around the way that you are waking up in the morning and your mindset is set on. So you have to change your mindset if you're having a hard time. So if you're having a hard time, that's probably partly because your mindset is set on saying, yeah, I'm having a hard time, I can't do nothing about it. We have the strength, but we just have to overpower our minds. And that it can be hard, but we have the strength to do it. And sometimes we just kind of conform to just, I don't know, being victims. We're just victims of ourselves and our own unhealthy mindset. You need to shape your mindset to the ways of God and the ways of the Bible and not the ways of the world.
How?
So sometimes our minds are going to fool us. So that's going to happen. Our minds will try to fool us. And sometimes Satan's going to put things in our minds and we're like, oh my gosh, I suck. Because those thoughts don't come from God. Those thoughts aren't godly. Those thoughts that you have against yourself, the hard thoughts that you have against yourself, the things, I'm not perfect, I'm not good, I suck, all of those thoughts, those are coming from Satan and not from God. So, yeah, our minds are going to fool us sometimes, but we have to have the strength to power through that. So, in today's culture, most of us fall to a victim or to just playing the victim. We quite literally just fall for we become a victim, but we're falling for it because of ourselves. We're playing the victim to ourselves. We're tricking ourselves pretty much. So don't let yourself be the victim. Have the strength to allow God's word to convict us. We all have the strength to allow God's word to convict us, but sometimes we just overpower it with those thoughts and just think, I can't do anything about this. No one can fix me except for God. Like, God, why aren't you fixing me? God's given us the tools and the power and the strength to fix all this, but we just have to actually allow that to happen. We have to allow God to help us. You need to start thinking that you are strong and that you can get out yourself and get yourself out of this depression. So if you feel like you're stuck in a tunnel. You're stuck in a dark tunnel, you don't have a flashlight, you can't see a way out, and you just sit there. You've given up. You've given up on life, you've given up on everything. I can tell you now that that is not the way to go. That is not the way to fix yourself. Unless you want to stay in that dark tunnel and you can't get out and you just want to sit there in the freezing cold, then you have to give yourself the power to be stronger than those thoughts. And God gives you that, but you have to actually believe in it or else it's not going to work. So simply wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and say out loud. Specifically, say it out loud because I promise you, saying it in your head is not going to work quite as good as quite literally getting up in the morning. And I want you to say, today is going to be a good day. If you've had the worst year, the worst month, the worst week, the worst day before this, or you think that this day is going to be bad, sometimes I have the bad thing of like, I have like a whole bunch of tests in one day. I'm stressed out about it. I go to bed thinking tomorrow is going to be awful. It's going to be so stressful. And no, that's not what we need to do. We need to go to bed thinking, I've got this. And we need to wake up in the morning and say, today is going to be a good day. Because sometimes we wake up in the morning and we are dreading the day. We're tired. We don't want to get up. But even if you don't believe it yet, if you say it out loud, eventually you're going to start believing it. So it might not work the first day because you don't believe it. But eventually you're going to trick your heart and your mind into believing that. And you're going to actually start believing it. So say it out loud. Wake up in the morning and say, today's going to be a good day. I've got this. I'm going to ace my test. And everything, all is well with the world. Do that because it's so much better when you wake up in the morning and are positive, and you're going to live life fuller and more happier and with God better that way because you're actually believing in Him and you're believing in yourself. When you hear someone talking about how their day is going to suck, you tell them, say, no, you've got this. I believe in you. I'm confident in you. God is confident in you. You've got this. Have confidence in yourself. And you don't even understand how much those words can help other people, even if they're like, oh, yeah, sure. No, like those words are going to stick in their brain and they're going to remember that. So to help other people, you have to change your mindset first. But it's going to help and you're eventually going to start believing. But that also goes both ways. If you start saying, I hate my life, I want to give up, I don't care about my life, whatever, that if you wake up and say that in the mornings or you say that throughout the day, even if it's a joke, because I know that a lot of kids, like, I'm going to be honest, I did it and I got in trouble before by a teacher because I got mad at an assignment I was doing. I said, I'm going to hurt myself. And I never actually had the intention to hurt myself, But the teacher, which is the smart thing to do, was like, you cannot say that. I will turn you into the principal. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, don't say that, because eventually those things are going to get to your mind. Those words that you're saying out are going to come back in, and they're going to get in your mind, and you're going to think that. And you're going to start believing what you're telling yourself. So don't do that. The key is to not let yourself be part of the negative and let yourself be the positive. So wake up in the morning and tell yourself today is going to be a good day, and don't wake up in the morning and tell yourself today is going to be a bad day. Okay, guys, so my best friend is actually the one who made the comment on my Instagram story to do this topic on my next video. So I offered her to write something on her thoughts on it, because I know that she would do an amazing job explaining it. So I'm going to insert that part in here now. And I'm really excited that you guys get to hear her talk. Mindset. People don't realize how much power they hold in their words and thoughts. We have so much power over our lives and don't even know it. Don't feel burdened or condemned if you're watching this video if you don't have the best mindset. Controlling your thoughts is a very hard thing to do. I catch myself plenty of times thinking negatively or even saying negative things about myself or my business. So please don't feel discouraged, but instead inspired to try and work on making yourself feel better about your life. There are so many studies that you can look up online that show evidence to how much power your words and thoughts have. Proverbs 10:31. From the mouth of the righteous, which means you, God made you righteous, comes the fruit of wisdom. But a perverse tongue will be silenced. Proverbs 12:13 and 14. 13. Evildoers are trapped by their sinful talk, and so the innocent escape trouble. 14. From the fruit of their lips people are filled with good things, and the work of their hands bring them reward. These scriptures give evidence that whether it's positive or negative thinking and speaking, they both produce fruit in their lives. So, moral of this paragraph and video is to never forget how perfect, important, strong, smart, and incredibly loved you are. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I am so excited to do this next time. I'm going to continue for the next video. Before I do that one, I'm going to post on my Instagram story again. So if you do want to follow my Instagram so that you can see those stories, it is Jesus in Mind 00, and that is also what my TikTok is on, which I post on daily. So that would be totally awesome if you guys want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!